play here.
Getting loud, clear.
All day, all night.
Power 95, where music lives. The views expressed in the following program aren't necessarily those of Power 95. Ladies Room comes to you compliments. Renwick Thompson and Company Limited, agents for Western Union.
2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3 is 6.
Education multiplies their chances and places the world of opportunity in their hands. No matter where they are in the world, make sure they're prepared for their journey back to school with Western Union. School fees, books, room and board, whatever the reason. Knowledge, independence, opportunity. Western Union, moving money for better.
And we're back in the room. We're back in the room for today, Tuesday, March 28th. Good morning, everybody. Yep, we're up and running one more time. Let me just share this here. Everybody good? Y'all had a good night? How did y'all sleep? Like these people's personal secretary, I swear. Every morning I have to share this. Alright, got it. So, as I was saying, hope everybody's doing fine. Good morning. It is day 1 of Intercall. The rivalry between the schools is so entertaining, actually hilarious. But I want to shout out my girls at St. Joseph's Convent, St. Andrew. Yeah, shout out my alma mater. Hope they had themselves a good 3 days of solid competition. Yeah. So is it going to stay in the town or are we going country with the trophies? I miss Intercall like back in the day. Y'all don't enjoy... Today's kids don't enjoy Intercall the way we used to. Because back then we had the wooden bleachers. And every year our main goal was literally to break them. So we would jump until they were broken. And while you're on it, you're jumping and you're getting this bounce. And you have the drummers, the Tivoli drummers. You know, we come down with our bottles or shells and flutes and horns. And you just jump from, when you come out in that stadium, listen, you smell bun. You smell like bun dog, like roast. And I'm telling you, because you know that sun. You know that sun in Queen's Park ain't nothing to play with. So imagine on the bleachers, when you remove your clothing, every part of you is burnt. But you had fun. That was the whole aim, to come have fun. We weren't interested in, seeing no little boy, no. Because you come into town, it's almost like it was a big deal. You didn't get to come to town like that before. Unless you were on some school trip or some assignment. So coming to town for those 3 days was like a big deal. So you pack your little container. Yeah, they give you a little money to buy little snacks. When you come down, you get a fried chicken and chips in your bowl. And according to them back in the day, you buy a little soft drink and you're good to go. Back on the bleachers. So I hope they have a fun filled 3 days of competition. Even though it's competition, they'll still enjoy it. Hope it will be incident free. Begging motorists all will be driving, transporting the students. So please be careful with them. There's no need to speed. Take your time. Let's be careful. And of course, like I said earlier on, a call to parents and guardians again. Yes, they're going to the stadium. But if they're not going to the school with the school, because back in my day, there was no going by yourself. You had to pay the bus in advance to reserve your seat. You went down with the bus, and when it's time to leave, you'll hear an announcement. all the students of St. Joseph's Convent, you're asked to assembly by the Green Bridge or by the Humback Bridge or by the playing field. You get there, you board your bus, they dropped you home. There was no walking around town, no coming down by no terminal and taking bus for yourself and strolling in the people park after 2, 3, 4, 5. 8 o'clock, you had to be at the school to catch the bus. Otherwise, you're not going anywhere. So, a reminder to the parents and guardians again, yes, some will be coming with the school and others will be coming by themselves. Don't just leave it to them to do what they want. Make sure you lay down some ground rules. Make sure you let them know what time to be home, whether it finish or unfinish. It's not no strolling in and out as you want and patrolling around the town. Make sure you lay down some of the rules. All right? And if they're not attending, same applies. Because you hear of children on beach, children all over the place while their parents at work, and then they come home just in time before their parents get home and pretending they won't. Listen, you can't make these little people fool you all. They're miles ahead and running rings around you. So you always got to be a step ahead because you always have to think. I was young once and been there, done that. So what you're doing now is nothing new to me. I know this. I know all the tricks in the bag. I know all the old tricks. So you always have to be a step ahead. Think ahead. And ask questions. Know who they're going with, who their friends are, what time they'll be coming home, and all of that. Don't just be like, okay, have a good time, put some money in their pocket, and that's it. All right? Let's make sure that they're safe all around. Anywho's, Val says the time I get a beating on because I came home late, had to go get my school skirt from a friend after running my relay. My mother, no, weren't interested in no, they weren't interested in no excuse. No, they're not interested in it. Good morning, Michael. See my nephew on the live. Yeah, we not about Sonia, you're out of place. About country children is so glad to come down to full up KFC. You see how disrespectful? We didn't even get to go there because you had to remain in the stadium, in the park. You couldn't leave. They wouldn't allow you to leave. So if you came into school, like I said, you came with your bag, your little container pack with all your snacks and your water and everything. There was no going outside. Anytime you exited the stadium was to jump your bus and go home. So now you're seeing children strolling around town before they reach up the road. Listen. Morning, friends. Yes, now you see children running all over the place and there was no leaving. You mad? Leave Sister Gertrude school and go in which town? You mad? To get called up on stage on your rights? Read? No, listen, no. You come into school, you stay in this. The only place you're allowed to be is inside the vicinity. You are not allowed to go outside. Come down in which town to buy which? Nothing so. It was later on when we changed principles and it wasn't that strict that you students started to come by themselves and not come with the school. You started seeing, the little brown skirts around the town, but there was none of that before. Sister Gertrude, that was our principal. She's a nun. Sister Gertrude Tankai. I saw a picture of her. She looks like the same. I think she was from, where was Sister Gertrude from? Indonesia? India? Somewhere thereabouts. But Sister Gertrude, man, she was an amazing principal. Strict, but you had to love her. Francis Suki Rider. Yeah, Brands. Yeah, Sister Gertrude always said that intercall was actually class, was actually outside learning. So she treated it like you were going to school, but just not in the school. So you had to be there on time. Like I said, the bus left. We had to be like in the school for 7:30. Bus will leave at 8. So you had to be there on time. So it was not like, a fun day. That's how she saw it. It was a day outside of the classroom, outside of the classroom, but a day to learn as well. So you have to be in your P's and Q's. A lady will be patrolling everywhere with your little flashlight. Listen. I loved her, man. So Sister Mason Francis suspended for that. She always said intercall was classroom at the stadium. Yep. So I think they all shared that same sentiment. Then I wasn't there for the Sister Anne period. I was there for Sister Gertrude. Anywho's, hope the kids will have fun after how many years? Almost 2-3 years of no intercall. It's good to have it back again. So all the best to all the schools. May the best school win. And like I said, I'm loving the rivalry among the past students. Let me see what's so let me jump into today's situation. Sheena, that's today's thing you sent for me, or I could move on before I play it. All right, so let me give you all the topic today, and then I'll play. We'll jump into some of the responses. So I have two, but I'm gonna go with this one because I think it's more relatable. This lady says that her husband got another woman pregnant, and they worked through the betrayal. The child is now 4, and she says she's always encouraged him to be part of his child's life, though I have kept my distance when the child visits for weekends. Now the mother wants to migrate permanently and wants my husband to take full physical custody, and I think that is where my tolerance will end. Told him no, and that mentally I cannot bear to raise the child who is the product of his affair. I have told him to tell his baby mother to have her mother keep the child, and we can maintain the weekend visits. I think this is a better arrangement because I have no motherly feelings towards this child. My husband says I'm selfish as he raised my child like his own. When he met me, I had a young daughter and never once complained. Apples and oranges, but anyways. I don't think the two situations are comparable, but I am adamant that I am in no position to take on raising a toddler or expend the effort it would take to care for this child. And what are your views? She wants to know, what are your views? How should she proceed? My mother always said that when you play with puppy, it literally does lick your mouth. And when you play with big dogs, it'll bite you. And when you lay with dogs, you catch fleas. The first thing you do when you pick a little puppy to play with it, it starts moving towards your mouth, to lick your mouth. And that is exactly what's going on here. Now, you gave the lady none of that. Pack, leave me alone. Nothing so. You just come and distract me. So, is she wrong for feeling that way? But for the life of me, I can't understand why you would say that she's selfish and try to compare the two. Let's break it down, right? You met the lady with her daughter. There and then you had a choice to accept that situation or not. You met her with that child. You could have said, you know what, I am not interested in being a stepfather. This is not my cup of tea. I want my own. And go your merry way rejoicing. You chose. You had a choice here. You had a choice to either like this woman with her. This is when you buy the cow, you have to what? Like the calf? You had a choice to not like either one of them and go your way rejoicing. You chose to be there in that woman's life and her daughter's life. Stepped out on your marriage, got another woman pregnant, and you had the testicular fortitude, the unmitigated gall, to make a comparison here. I don't get it. And when I call y'all problems, y'all say this, that, and the other. But y'all are problems. How do you have unprotected sex, impregnate another woman, and then call your wife selfish for not wanting any part of it? Yes, she forgave you. And somebody say, well, fact that you forgave him means you forget everything and you're accepting of whatever is going on. But no, I forgive the action, but that doesn't mean I have to accept the consequences. I mean, I know it's not an easy feat that your husband has asked of you. And trying to look at it from the other side, it is understandable that you can't emotionally manage to parent this child. You have been lenient, you've been forgiving, you've been accommodating. And we have to say kudos to you for being capable of doing what you've already done. The truth is, many women would not do what you have done. Many mature, well-thinking women have departed relationships at the mention of infidelity. Infidelity itself is a deal breaker for many, and they don't recover. So that you work through the infidelity, I mean, you deserve some applause. That you facilitated and encouraged your husband to be part of his child's life, big applause. There are some women who would say point blank period, no communication, no dealing, so you have to hide. Like literally, I think we had a situation where a man was saying that he couldn't bring his child into his marital home. He had to go see his child at her home or meet somewhere on the street. But his wife was not accepting of the child and didn't want that child in y'all home. But in this instance, she encouraged you to be part of your child's life. And honestly, my honest opinion, to me, it really is not imperative for you to go further. And like I said, the comparison between your child and his is not the same. You're absolutely correct. And no, you're not being selfish. Your response is quite reasonable. You're not Mother Teresa. And I mean, the challenge with these situations is that the offending party, in your case, your husband, has to maintain a relationship with the person they offended with. Once there's a child involved, there's going to be a responsibility to care for the child. And that means regular interaction with the other parent. It must be noted that it's good that your husband takes responsibility for his child. And if the child is his only child, he'll understandably want his child close by. The difficulty he now faces is doing right by you, his wife, and doing right by his young child. So, how do we advise her? How do you guys advise her? My bit is be clear, Yep, determine what your parameters are, what the deal breaker is, and have a plan for if the deal breaks. Make plans for if the worst should happen, and include consideration for your daughter's well-being. Maybe you should speak with your husband again. Set up a mutually convenient time for a powwow with him, Make sure you're both in the right mood and frame of mind, because good communication requires proper timing. Your husband should already know that he's asking you to do something pretty difficult. Remind him of this and of your faithfulness, love, and all the sacrifices you've made for the well-being of the family. And let him know what's the deal breaker for you. Let him know you're committed to him and help him with the child as best as you can, but under certain terms and conditions. I'm not sure what is the relationship with the child, the mother of the child, or if you're even open to having a conversation with her. The child's mother should have met with you both at the time of asking you both to take full custody. Her excluding you in the initial request was not prudent on her part. But like I said, I'm not sure what the dynamics of that relationship is. It would have been wiser for her to ask to meet with you both to outline what her plans were. Her actions seem yet again disrespectful. So I pray for wisdom. I pray for strength for you and an abundance of love for both your children, because at the end of the day, the children are the ones who will be the losers here. And that's why I keep saying to people, we keep bringing children into these situations. They didn't ask to be here. Yes, you went out on cheat. My gosh. It doesn't take much from you to protect yourself. Why are you having unprotected sex? Bag up your business. And even as the woman, like I keep telling y'all, you no longer have to leave that responsibility in the hands of a man. You have to think about yourself. No dude is married. You having unprotected sex. It's like sometimes y'all forget that unprotected sex could lead to unwanted pregnancies and STDs and STIs and all sorts of things. It's like everybody just so interested in having a good time. Yeah, we swap spit, you walk away, oh yeah, I'm feeling good, and then we don't think about the consequences. Yet again, a child born into a situation of no fault of his or hers and have to live with my mother is leaving permanently. Now it's like, who wants me? We continuously set up children. We set up children big time, and not to succeed. Imagine as a child, and children aren't stupid. They read energy. They read energy. So as much as he goes over to that house, he knows that that woman is not interested in him at all. Probably him and his father are the only ones who do stuff together, go for ice cream together, go play together, and the wife has nothing to do with him. It's like a piece of garbage you throw out. We're in 2023 for crying out loud, and it's like we're still in the 50s. It's like y'all don't know what happens when you have sex. Y'all aren't concerned about pregnancies. Like we're still stuck in this child must mind. But what about their mental health? Yeah, you're taking care of them. But are you setting them up to succeed, or are you setting them up to fail when you bring them into these situations? It's like people are just... Sheena, let me bring you in. Let me see what you gotta say. I mean, I understand that, yeah, she forgave him. But because she forgave him, like sometimes, you know what? Yeah, you love and whatever, but sometimes, certain situations requires you cutting loose. Cut. One time, same time. Because when they give people a chance to walk into your life, they roller skate, they start sliding. They give them an inch, they take a mile. So I'm sure that I'm going to hear the argument that, oh, she forgave him, so that means she should accept everything. I don't know. I don't buy into that. She forgave his action. I don't necessarily think she has to accept the consequences of his action. She's been supportive to me, been very supportive, actually encouraging him to take care of that child. What more y'all want from her?
I've been trying to send this voice message for about 10 minutes now, and every minute I have to delete it and start over. This is going to be the last one. Miss, I want to start off by saying I understand that accepting a product of infidelity could be a very hard thing. Man or woman, we are human with real emotions, so I understand that it is hard. However, you made the choice that you want to stay in your marriage, work on your marriage. You forgave the betrayal and you accepted the product of the betrayal. Not only did you accept the product of the betrayal, you accepted the fact that you get a whole new role of stepmother because of your husband's infidelity. From the moment you find the man on you, you could have left. You could have told him pack your bags and go. You could have left. 4 years has passed. You could have been happily married again. But you chose to stay, and nobody's judging you for staying. Nobody would have judged you for leaving. But if you choose to stay, as you did, you cannot be a weekend stepmother. You cannot tell the father who is legally, financially, and emotionally responsible for a child that he could only be a weekend father. He has to be a full-time parent to his child. And now that the birth mother is unavailable, he has to take up more of a responsibility than he was taking up before. You don't get to tell the father that you don't accept that. Like, you what kind of thing is that? You were happy to have him be a full-time father to your child, but you don't want him to be a full-time father to his own child.
But the circumstances aren't the same.
At the end of the day, maybe before the weekend visit was okay for you, and now that he's coming to be full-time, you can't take it. That's okay, miss. Leave. Not having a husband ain't gonna kill you, I can promise you. Not having a husband ain't gonna kill you. Leave. But you do not get to mistreat an innocent child and justify it on your feelings. You cannot do that. If it's too much for you to bear, leave. But you do not tell a man he could only be a weekend father. You do not tell a man that, nah, I'm not accepting your child. You cannot do that. You cannot, and you shouldn't want to do that. No, whatever argument are they getting there about him calling you selfish and thing, I mean, I personally agree, but at the end of the day, this woman needs to, you had 4 years to accept his infidelity and the product of his infidelity and the new role that came with his product of infidelity as stepmother. Be a better stepmother to that child because your husband was a good stepfather to your child. Don't do that. And again, if you cannot accept it for what you can't do it, you want to, you're willing, but you cannot do it, then leave this marriage and allow this man to be a father to his child.
So it's like women could never win. So here's this man. He seems to be getting a pass on his infidelity because he stepped out on his marriage, and I don't get why we're comparing the two. Again, he met her with a child. He had a choice to accept a woman with a child by another man, or to say that is not my cup of tea. I prefer to have my own family, and I bounced. He went in knowing she had a child. She didn't send the man and cheat. So why do we always want women to accept things? If the roles are reversed and a woman wants to get pregnant in her marriage, there's no way that man is giving her another chance. So that is the mistake women make. And yeah, we have to take responsibility for that. Bounce. Because if the roles are reversed, there's no way a man would say, I forgive you and we can raise your child together. You'll be gone, like beat it. Pronto. So sometimes as women, we set ourselves up. Certain things are not forgivable. Certain things are unacceptable. Certain things you don't get to do over. Good morning.
Morning.
How you do?
Oh, I am fine. I'll just take a peek off my trying to listen to my school do well.
It's your school?
My old school, GBS.
GBSS? Okay. I'll get one on one tableaus this year.
Okay, dream on. And before let me tell you something. You are not young enough. I am not claiming you are old, but you are not young enough to know sports for 3 days.
I do.
Wait,
Trust me.
No, you weren't in school when there was 3 days in
I
was. No, 3 days in Takwala
Yes.
started a few years ago.
Listen, I was for the latter part of it. But we had 2 days or 3 days? No, 2 days.
2 days.
Yes,
That's
2
what
days.
you know.
Yeah, 2 days. Yeah.
I only know 1 day, mind you.
Yeah,
I
you're
am
right.
that old. I only know 1 day. You know 2 days. That's
Yeah,
not
2
it.
days. You're right.
You don't
You're
know
right.
3.
Yeah.
Right. But, being the fair person I am, you know by now what I think about infidelity, cheating, call it what name you want. We call it all kind of fancy name. The damn thing is harming your wife. If you want to be in layman too. I blame her from day one for accepting him and that child in life with me. I mean, if it was the other way around, she gone. So why shouldn't I think that he shouldn't be gone? He should be gone. I do not blame the lady for not. She accepted. She was good enough to accept not a stepchild. That she had a child. She was not a stepmother. She never accepted stepmotherhood because the child was staying with his mother, and the child came on the odd weekend, whatever, and she never accepted it.
All she did was encourage him to take care of it.
To take care of it, and he got home. I have no blame to put. The blame began that she stayed there and took it. But then it was abstract in that she was never a stepmother. I don't expect her to become a stepmother because the mother chose to leave that child and go. She was good enough to accept it and whatever. I am not lady. I am giving you no blame for saying you are not. If he insists on the child coming home, you and your daughter move. Or it depends on who the house for. Let him move. Tell him no. And if you go according to the last lady, there's nothing wrong with being not married. Where I differ with her is thinking there's something wrong with her for wanting to. I mean, how? Just look at it the
Just
other way
imagine
around.
that you're looking at this child every single day and be reminded that
that
this
is what
man
is,
cheated on me.
would he have
We
ever
put so much
accepted
pressure
that?
on women. It's like we're made of big stones and we have no feelings. And I don't get it sometimes.
Would would he have ever accepted that she went out and have one and
Nope.
the child coming in the house?
Nope.
That wouldn't
Listen,
I don't know. I
imagine
don't know
somebody
what kind
cheats on you without a child. Sometimes there's no child, but and how the pain and even looking at the person, how it feels.
Well,
Now
I
throw
know,
a child in the picture.
I know in my case, once that is done, you are gone. So I am not blaming anybody for doing it because
My only thing is, I'm sorry that children get, put in those
crushed.
situations and have
That
to.
is elephant fighting on the grass.
It's sad that children have to be part of those sort of
I wish
situations.
people, not just men, I wish people would be more accepting of responsibility and know. Just weekend gone, I think my wife and I were speaking. People think this world is all about people. God sent you into this world to eat, fet, have sex, and eat all that kind of bad food, so-called fancy food, lobster and lamb, and think that feed on waste anyway, and think that is all there is to life. Joke and yell, jam, and that sort of thing. People take this world too. They're too vague about this whole world. The world is not like that. That is not what we came here for. We are came here to be good human beings, to be better with each other, to do the best we can for each other. And if you are married, to stay married. And yes, I'm not saying everything will be perfect. You'll have to solve, according to my mother. And there will be grind. It would not be easy. But for you to deliberately want something, yes, you are cheating. And yet you go there and you step out with no condom, with no nothing, with all these former contraceptives, everything. Come on, in the name of all the gods at once. Next thing you bring back something like AIDS, like some other disease and sort of thing. It is. I don't know. I think people, human beings, are taking this life too casual. Life isn't casual. Life isn't like that. There are more to life than this silliness. You go out and have sex, okay, big, you go and you cheat, you're a shatter, that is what they call it, the young people say. I think my daughter says not shatter anymore, you're a G, meaning that you're a general. And shatter is old people. Is ancient, so you're a G now.
They get a pass, and the woman is called selfish.
And the woman is all wrong. I see absolutely nothing, lady. The only thing I say, I wouldn't say you were wrong to accept it before, but the point of what you accepted was not stepmotherhood. You never accepted stepmotherhood. You would never see yourself as a stepmother. He had a child. You forgave him. You say you could take care of your child. Bring him home weekend. You're never part of the child's life. I don't blame you. I can't see how you could be. You can't start now. You are doing nothing wrong. Only thing, don't stay there and make the child life miserable. If he brings her home, you have to
exit at some point.
You have to exit. Somebody have to exit.
Gotcha.
But you ought not to stay there and let that child struggle. You want to stay and take care of his child by the road? What's about the mother responsibility? She must go away? She must leave a 4-year-old and go? What is it? But you don't have to accept it, but don't let the child
suffer as a result of that.
At all.
Gotcha.
Have a
Thanks so
great
much. Thanks so much, caller. Well said. I believe that as well, That's why I kept saying, when you play with puppies, your mouth get licked. Because that's where he's leaning. The fact that you forgave him means that you forgive everything and you're accepting of everything. So now it's almost like you can't say anything or not go back or feel any type of way. Good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Morning.
How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
I'm just calling to comment on what's been happening. So far, I've been listening for a little while. And I find a lot of badness that's going on because to me, there's a situation where she did not accept stepfatherhood. That is very true. I mean stepmother, but that's very true, right? But in the end of the day, forgiveness is forgiveness, right? Two options in forgiveness, in my opinion. It's either you forgive the man and accept what the consequences come because they're both married. His problems is her problems is his problem. And if you know as a person that you can't handle it, forgive the man, let the anger go, and then walk away. There's the only two options. You do have forgiving the man and then telling the man he could be a quarter father, a pizza father, half a father, or whatever his responsibility is. If she can't handle it, it is understandable that she can't handle it. No one is asking her to handle it. If she chose to stay and forgive the man, she did end up becoming a stepmother. You can't tell the man he has a child to be a father, and you don't want a part of it, and you want to be with him, man. That's how he could have said, well, you come in with a outside child.
But not the same. He couldn't say
mine.
anything. He could have said, a matter of fact, from the day he found out she had a child, he could have beat it one time. No explanation, no nothing.
No, he could have. And then that's what I'm saying. Everybody has a choice in that situation. Everybody's responsible for their own choice. Just like how he could have seen her coming with a child that's not his. He could have refused and said, listen, no, I don't want that responsibility. Just like her, she could have said, listen, you cheated on me.
So you know what?
You have a child.
Someone here is saying, you know what?
I don't want that responsibility. Walk away.
What would you say to this?
Forgive. Huh?
What would you say to this comment? Someone is saying that forgiveness doesn't mean acceptance. When you forgive, it's not for the person, it's for you. So forgiving does not mean you accept.
Anybody. Forgiveness is forgiveness, because if you want to talk about forgiveness, forgiveness could give you peace, and sometimes forgiveness could resolve a problem, just like that relationship. For the sake of the relationship, to help solve the problem. If you want all to move forward together, forgiveness is necessary. Forgiveness has many aspects, and it could solve many problems. It's not only for the individual. No, if it wanted to be only for her, she could forgive him, release that anger, release that issue, then walk away. Don't forgive and forgive partially, then say, oh, I forgive you for whatever has been done, and then you come and say, oh, you can't be a father to your child, or you can only be a father to your child partially.
Gotcha.
It's not fair to anybody, and especially the young child that's present. So you're telling me, because of the fact that you didn't agree initially to be a stepmother, that child cannot be with his father if you want to be with the father. So that child cannot have a father because you didn't agree to be a stepmother.
Gotcha. Alrighty, thanks so much for your input. Appreciate it.
All right,
bye-bye. Have a good one. In the next life, I want to be a bird or a man. Papa God, in the next life, could you just change everything around? I would like to be a man or a bird. Either one works. But being a woman is no fun anymore. It's not cutting it, because it just feels like you can't win. You're expected to be so many things. You're expected to be a saint. You're expected to be priest. You're expected to be counselor. You're expected to be therapist. You're expected to be misunderstanding. You're expected to put your feelings on ice. You're supposed to just be accepting of things and not allowed to be in your feelings or emotions. I don't get it. My gripe with him here is him accusing her of being selfish. So you're saying we're married and I have no say in how I feel and what I want. I didn't send you on put your business in other people unprotected. So why am I now being stressed? It's easy to say leave, but we don't know the extent of their relationship, what they've acquired, or, apart from the child, maybe they've had a good relationship. They've done. Starting over is not the easiest of things for human beings. And she also has a daughter that she has to take into consideration. It's sort of uprooting her stability. So many times women are asked to put their feelings on ice and just make sure everything is okay with everybody else. But what about us? So yeah, one could say, well, you should have left. Easier said than done. I mean, we get cheated on, and imagine the hurt that we feel. With no child in the picture, but just getting cheated on. How that feels. And it takes a while to even look the person in the eye. Even though you forgive their action, and you might say, you know what, I'm willing to work it out, give it another chance. It still takes a while to just look at the person the same way. You look at them differently. It's like, who are you? So one, you're already under pressure for you stepping out. Two, there's a child in the picture and you being asked to be accepting of that and put your feelings on ice because you're selfish for not wanting the child to know. The lady encouraged the man to have a relationship. At no point in time she said to him, I don't want you to have anything to do with your child or that child mother. She encouraged him to have a relationship. All she's saying, she does not want to be a stepmother. She does not want that responsibility to be a stepmother to a child that he had outside of their marriage. What is hard about that to understand? She's not Jesus' sister. In the perfect world, yes, you would love if we could be more accepting and more tolerant and more patient and all of that. But here in the real world, it don't work that way. Yes, she was willing enough to forgive him for his infidelity, to encourage him to have a relationship with his child, but she stopped at 3, which is, I do not want to become a full-time stepmother to your son. And it is not the same to compare him accepting her daughter. He had a choice. She didn't bring it on him or surprise him or spring it on him, or he went into the marriage knowing she had a daughter. That is like comparing apples and mango. It's a fruit, but it's not the same. He knew. She didn't know he was stepping out having unprotected sex. So yes, I forgive you, but I don't want to be a mother to your child. That's basically what she's saying. And again, like I said, my heart bleeds for children who are in situations like this, because it's true, no fault of theirs. Grown, consenting adults who decide to have coitus, according to Kareem, cares only about their feelings, how they feel nice, they feel sweet, and the repercussions. You're already in a volatile situation. You're married, stepped out, got having unprotected sex. Woman knows he's married, but still having unprotected sex. And yet still, the woman caught in the crossfire is the one being called selfish. What about him? She never told him not to have anything to do with the child. She still encouraged him. But what she's saying, if the mother wants to move on, move or travel or migrate permanently, it's baby steps. You can't just bring something on somebody and expect them to accept it. You never know. She might come around at some point. But her suggestion is that the woman's mother take care of the child and they maintain the weekend visits. You never know what could happen. Things might change and she might come around at some point. But asking her to make all the sacrifices is, to me, that is what I'm getting here. Because she accepted it, because she forgave him, she is the one to make all the sacrifices. Miss, go your way, eh? Go your way. Because there's never going to be peace in that house. There's going to be constant problems. Because he's not accepting of that. He wants his child. You don't want to be a stepmother. There ain't going to be peace in that house anytime soon. So if your peace of mind is worth anything to you, go about your business. Because there ain't about to be a peaceful outcome to this or solution anytime soon based on what's going on here. Leave him to take care of his child. You take care of your daughter and beat it. Brent says this situation was created by him. She'd need to make a choice to move on, not sacrifice. Exactly. She needs to make a choice to move on and not sacrifice. There's only so much you could be accommodating of. There's only so much you could accept. Because I thought about it and I'm like, boy, if I'm in a situation, you love children as much as it's not their fault, as much as they're innocent, and much as they didn't ask to be here. Imagine how it hurts just knowing somebody steps out on you. That alone hurts. And then having to take care of. I don't know, man. It just seems morning.
Hi, morning. I'm just getting in on the program. I'm kind of late. But what you're telling me is not only do I have to accept you cheating on me and breeding somebody else, but I have to forever now be watching this child growing up and loving it. That can't work. You don't reward bad behavior. He got to go.
Point blank period. To the point.
Point blank period. Because every day now I have to be watching this child growing up and reminding and still sleeping with you in a bed. You got to be kidding.
Gotta go. Thank you so much, caller. Simple. She forgave him for her marriage. She didn't forgive him to be a stepmother. So, miss, you have a decision to make. All right? Someone says this is a problem and this would lead to serious problems in the home. If he did love, he would not have stepped out of the marriage. Let the man go his way and she go her way. Let him live up to his responsibilities. Forgive, forget what happened. Let it be. Or you could stay until he bring another one for you. Let us see as well. What do you say? What do you say? What people say? Or let us see Kakapool and think is egg. Carry on. So you sit down there in your situation and wait for him to bring another one for you and be the joke of the year. Anywho's, we shall reconvene at 11 a.m. in the forenoon tomorrow. Thank you so much, everybody, for your calls, your voice notes, your input on the live, listening via radio. And, of course, thank you so much to our friends at Western Union for making it possible for another day. I'll catch you all tomorrow, all right? Happy Tuesday.